Hey Taylor, your mad scientist and magical experimenter, and if you're watching this video, I want to note a couple things. First, this is a sample lesson from my class, Why Your Magic Isn't Working. And second, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's actually a link below to the article where I talk about the 4 reasons your magic isn't, why you aren't getting the results you want. 4 reasons why you're not getting the results you want. And of course, I also do have a link to the course, Why Your Magic Isn't Working. So, and if you're reading it if you're watching this video in the article, well then, check out the checklist that you can also get for free, which kind of shows you the action items. All right, so I want to talk about the third reason here, why you're not getting the results you want. And the third reason is that you don't necessarily recognize the result, right? So sometimes people will go and do a magical working, and they will have blinders on. They will have a set expectation about what should happen when magic occurs. What should happen when magic occurs? And they'll be like, I have this expectation that the result is going to occur this way. And the problem with having those blinders on is that it causes you to ignore possibilities around you and opportunities, and it causes you to ignore the fact that your result may come in on a very different variable than you would expect. This is a reason I always say, when you're doing magical work, don't get fixated on how the result will manifest. I mean, be very clear about what you want and what you don't want, and what the result will be, but don't get fixated on how the result will manifest, because how it's going to manifest is it's going to manifest whatever way is going to be optimal for the probability turning into reality, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be something that's obvious to you. And I think that a lot of people get caught up and stuck on this idea of magic showing up in a way that's like, yeah, it's going to show up this way. It's going to show up this way. It's going to manifest this way. Instead of maybe taking the time to really open their perspectives and perceptions up to discovering how the result might manifest. So, you might have this very clear idea about how the result's going to manifest. It doesn't manifest that way, and you're like, well, it didn't work. But maybe the result has manifested, but just not in a manner that you expect. Magic is very subtle in some ways. And again, we in the previous video I talked about how people problematically buy into Hollywood magic, and Hollywood magic is very glittery and very in your face and everything else, but real magic isn't. I mean, magic shows up in a very subtle ways sometimes. I can think of a few different times where I did magical workings where the result came about, but it came about in a way I totally didn't expect. Like I remember one time I did a working, this is back in my Kent State days, I did a working when I needed a car. And, I needed a car, and I ended up getting a car. But it came about in a way that I really didn't expect. I mean, it basically was just one of those cases where, I had this person contact me and tell me they had a friend who was selling a car, and that they thought the car might be a good fit for me. And that wasn't what I was expecting. I mean, I was like, oh, I'm going to go to a used car lot, or I'm going to look around and find an ad. Nope. Had this person contact me out of the blue, and then my dad contacted me out of the blue and said that he was going to give me some money, because I needed some money for something, and I needed the money at the time for the car. So he basically took care of the car. And I had a car so that I could drive to the different pagan festivals and events that I needed to go to. Point is that it didn't manifest in the way I expected. It manifested in the way that it needed to. And magic works along the lines of the path of least resistance. It's going to take the path of least resistance, but the path of least resistance may not be the path that's right in front of you. It could be a path over to the right or the left or behind you or whatever. And so as magicians, we need to open our perspectives up and to look for the subtle signs of the result coming through. Not just for the obvious sign that here's the result that says, oh, here I am. Sometimes the result shows up in ways you don't expect, but it's still there. And then later on you recognize it and you're like, oh, there it is. So keep yourself open. Don't fixate on what's right in front of you. Instead, keep yourself open and imaginative, because that will allow you to find the result and find the solution sometimes as well to manifesting that result in full. Magic is always just one part of the equation. Alright, so that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.